Hi guys, today is day 3 of Glory Be. Today we are reading to find our problem. So in day 1 we were looking for characters and setting. Day 2 we were looking for more characters and making a prediction. And now in day 3 we've seen Glory encounter a couple of problems in her small town in Mississippi. And so, or Missouri. Mississippi, Hanging Moss, Mississippi. There's your setting. And so we know that there's some problems going on in her town with things like racism and segregation. And that's just the kind of things Glory's grown up with. And she doesn't realize it's a problem. But when her new friend Laura comes down from Ohio, from the north, and starts talking about how things should be equal, Glory realizes, well, maybe this is different. You know, she's got a lot to learn about how things are around here. So we're going to see in these upcoming 2 chapters that there's going to be some problems that arise. And it's your job today to keep track of those problems. So as I'm reading, if you need to pause the video, press pause, and then write down when you encounter a problem with Glory. Because your job is going to be to fill out the Google form and to write 3 problems that have happened in our story. What's wrong? Daddy's at work. Yeah. He's at work. You want to say hi? Where is he? He's at work. He's at work. Say hi. Say hi. Okay, now go lay down and rest. It's nap time. Go night-night. You want to take the sheep with you? Yeah. Take him and go night-nights, okay? Okay. This is working with kids at home. All right, so I'm starting today on chapter 5. It's page 23 of Glory Be. I'm going to look today to see if there's a digital copy of this so that you'll be able to either read along somehow or look back in the text. And if I find one, I'll put it in our Google Classroom. So we're on chapter 5. Jessalyn pitches a fit. That night after supper, our daddy, Brother Joe Hemphill, head preacher of the First Fellowship United Church, took his second dish of cherry cobbler to the front porch to practice his sermons for preaching on Wednesday night and next Sunday morning. Emma was nowhere to be seen, and it looked to me like Jessalyn was up to no good. "Why'd you do those dishes all by yourself?" I couldn't hardly believe my eyes. She hadn't even asked me to help with drying. "Where's Emma?" Emma went home early. Jessalyn wiped her hands on the dish towel, slipped the pearl ring that used to be our mama's back onto her finger, and then turned around and gave me one of her looks. "What for?" I asked. "Emma never goes home early." "Something about company at her house." Jessalyn smiled at me like the world was one happy family. I wanted to help out. If Emma had been standing in our kitchen right then, she would have been telling me, "Gloriana June Hemphill, you are too nosy for your own good." Even though Emma might call it snooping, I didn't believe Jessalyn would be washing and drying those dishes for the pure de-niceness of it. I had to be nosy. Jessalyn pranced upstairs to our room, and I followed her. While she primped in the mirror, I reached under my bed for my secret shoebox of treasures. Shells from the times we visited our grandma in Florida, 2 Jesus bookmarks I'd won at Vacation Bible School, my Cracker Jack whistle, a bag of collected bottle caps, 10 copper pennies, and wax lips. My new Rock City postcard I'd saved it all to bet with. "Want to play junk poker?" I asked. With the way Jessalyn glared, I might as well ask her to play patty cake. "I've got better things to do," she said. "Besides, I dumped out my shoebox." "What'd you do that for?" "You made up junk poker when we were little, before I could hardly count to 21 and beat you. Now that I'm getting good and winning all your junk away from you, you don't want to play with me?" Jessalyn smiled into her mirror and dug through her mess of lipsticks and bobby pins on her dresser and pretended like I wasn't in the room. "Why are you getting so dressed up?" "Mind your own business, Glory." She flipped up the curl of her hair and painted on Persian melon lipstick. I untied the purple bow on my Buster Brown shoebox and lined up my junk poker treasures on the bumpy Chanel bedspread. Jessalyn smeared Vaseline on her eyebrows, a trick she'd learned from her stuck-up pep squad friends. It says when they march up and down the field, shiny eyebrows give them a movie star look. No. Next.
Hmm.
Try again.
It's because I used all my birds
Okay.
on one level.
Well, that's fine. Look, you can use this now too. Now go.
But all my other ones are X.
Okay. Go, Harrison. Harrison, go. Go in your room. Otherwise, no tablet. Thank you. I blew on my Cracker Jack whistle. Where are you going? I asked her. If you must know, she said, dabbing Evening in Paris perfume behind her ears. To the library with Mary Louise to plan her birthday party. Sure are getting fixed up for the library. I held a shell up to my ear, pretending to listen to the ocean, biting my lip and thinking about how Jesslyn didn't care one bit about my birthday. Our daddy knocked real quiet on our bedroom door. I stuffed my treasures into the shoebox real quick. Everything okay, girls? He asked. He never was one for much talk, unless he was in front of pews full of people waiting for the good word. Daddy, now that I'm going to high school, I'm too old to be sharing a room with Glory. Jesslyn gave him one of her I could never do a thing wrong look. She's bothersome and messy. I want Mama's old sewing room. Last summer, when the ceiling fan stirred up the heat, Jesslyn and me had pushed our beds close together. During the night, we kicked off our sheets and flipped our pillows to the cool side. Finally, we gave up on sleep, pulled out our secret shoe boxes, and played cards. And now here she was, tossing out all of her junk for our game and wanting to move to the sewing room. So I've got the timer going. I'm going to stop there. It's a perfect place to stop, actually. I want you to think about what problem is Glory encountering right now. I'm going to be right back. And we're back. So, we just read how Glory and Jesslyn used to be really close. Last summer, they pushed their beds together because they share a room, and they stayed up all night giggling and telling jokes and playing card games. And now this summer, Glory still wants to be friends with her sister. She still wants to spend time with Jesslyn, but Jesslyn wants to move out of their room. She doesn't want to help Glory plan her birthday party or play junk poker or anything else. And you could imagine that if you were really close to a sister or a brother or a cousin or somebody, and all of a sudden they didn't want to play with you anymore, and they wanted to move out of your room, and they didn't want to hang out with you at all, it would make you feel really lonely and really left out, and that's a problem for Glory. So make sure that you jot that down somewhere. If you've got a piece of paper or something, write that down, or you can open up a Google Doc and pause this video, and then go to your browser right up here, and then open up a Google Doc and type out your problems so that you don't forget them for the Google form. All right, so, oops, lost my page. Here we go. I'm on page 26, the middle of the page. I am not messy. I straighten the perfect spines of my Nancy Drew books, standing like soldiers on my shelf. Look at Jesslyn's stuff. Mascara wands and hairbrushes, perfume bottles and powder boxes were piled on a stack of dog-eared movie magazines. Jesslyn gave me the eye, again. I have private things. The way that she said private made me want to yank open her dresser drawer and steal her diary. Besides, Emma uses the sewing machine in there, I said. There's just that little bed with my quilt on it. You can't have my quilt. Now, girls, don't start fussing. Daddy raised a hand to hush us. Let me think on this, he said, heading back to his sermon. I'm fixing to walk over to the library, Jesslyn told him, smiling. But our daddy was halfway down the steps already. I'm going with you. I pushed my junk poker box under the bed. You are not. Stop sticking your nosy self into my business. Jesslyn smoothed the wrinkles out of her skirt for the third time. How come we never do stuff together anymore? Last summer you bought me a diary for my birthday present, and you taught me how to jump double dutch. Now you pitch a fit if I walk to the library with you. Mary Louise and I don't need you hanging around while we're planning her party. Jessalyn smiled in the mirror one last time and did a little dance down the stairs. Mary Louise, my Fanny. I peered into that mirror at the dishwasher blonde hair and tried to imagine myself in Persian melon lipstick, or my hair done up in Jessalyn's big brush rollers. Jessalyn's hair flipped up at the ends, and mine looked like it hadn't seen the right side of a brush all day. I followed Jessalyn down the stairs, but the back door banged shut in my face before I could ask her any more questions. I grabbed a dreamsicle from the kitchen freezer, and I headed for the porch. "Daddy, I'm going over to the library," I called. He looked up from his Bible. "Be careful. It's getting dark out," he said. "And maybe you can walk home with your sister." And then he picked up his pen and started writing on his sermon again. "Yes, sir," I answered, wondering whether Jessalyn was even at the library. I skipped down the front steps, and I headed off to find my sister. So we can tell that Glory likes to solve mysteries. When she reads those Nancy Drew books, there are still Nancy Drew books, and there's still new ones. There's a Nancy Drew series. I think we had a couple in our classroom library, and I'm sure there's some on Epic. But if you look up Nancy Drew, they're all about solving mysteries, where Nancy Drew is the main character, and she wants to solve all these mysteries and figure out who done it and who stole whatever. And we can figure out that Glory is very similar. She knows Jessalyn's up to something because she was getting her hair all curled up and putting on lipstick and perfume and looking all dolled up and pretty. And Glory's thinking, you wouldn't get yourself all dressed up for your friend. I want to know where you're going, because who goes to the library looking like they're going to a movie premiere or something? And so when Jessalyn calls Glory nosy and says, keep your nose in your own business, we can tell that Glory really wants to find out what Jessalyn's up to, and Jessalyn doesn't want her to find out. So we're going to see in this next chapter what happens with Jessalyn and Glory.